In Gyanvapi's Vyas Tehkhana, Hindu side is now seeking an ASI survey in the full basement, mosque basement. Hindu side moves the Varanasi court, open lock cellars in Gyanvapi's plea. Earlier, the court had allowed the puja in one of the 4 cellars. The Hindu side essentially has said, let there be a survey in the entire basement. Why not? If one cellar has been opened up, then why not the others is the question that the Hindu side essentially is asking of the court. The plea is that let there be an ASI survey. A fresh plea from the Hindu side, moving Varanasi High Court. This after the court had allowed puja in the basement, at least in one cellar of the mosque. Now, the Hindu side says that why not a survey in the other sides as well? An ASI survey in the entire mosque basement. Nalini is getting asked more details on that. Nalini, this obviously is because the Hindu side has found encouragement in the order of the court previously that said that at least in one part of the cellar, of the basement, essentially, which is one cellar where the puja should be allowed, and the puja we know has already started there.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Sneha, what the plea before the Varanasi court states, and Shrishti Goja is getting us this information, is that the religious character of the other cellars should also be determined, which can only be done if those cellars, the ASI survey of those cellars has been allowed. In fact, it's an application that has been filed by one of the original plaintiffs, who was a plaintiff in the Gyanvapi Mosque case. And what the plaintiff is stating is that to undertake the ASI survey of the remaining cellars, the access to which has been blocked, which was similar to this cellar, the access to which had been blocked by the district administration, because as to whether or not they have the possession and the ownership of that particular cellar was itself in dispute, which is why the Hindu parties had essentially earlier asked for the district administrator to be appointed as the receiver of that particular cellar, after which that order had come in, which had allowed for worship to take place in that particular basement or the cellar of the Gyanvapi Mosque. What they've also said is that ASI survey should be undertaken through the scientific investigation, it can be determined as to what the religious character of these the cellars in the Gyanvapi Mosque basement is, and as to whether or not there are any artifacts or remains from the earlier Hindu temple, because the ASI report had earlier very categorically stated that there existed a Hindu temple on the same spot where the Gyanvapi Mosque currently stands, and a lot of artifacts, a lot of idols, a lot of religious symbols of the Hindu temple were found during the ASI survey of the Gyanvapi Mosque complex. This comes on the same day, Sneha, that the Supreme Court is also set to hear the plea by the Hindu parties asking for an ASI survey of the Vazu Khana as well. In 2022, the Supreme Court had categorically issued orders that had asked for the Vazu Khana to be sealed, because there was an ongoing dispute where the Hindu parties were claiming that there was a shivling that was found inside the Vazu Khana, whereas the Muslim parties had stated that it was not a shivling and in fact only a fountain that was present inside the Vazu Khana. So keeping this dispute in mind, the area had been sealed, but today the Supreme Court is all set to hear as to whether or not there should be an ASI survey of the sealed area as well.
Thank you for the moment, Nalini, getting in all those details and putting that story into perspective.